Hello, guys, and welcome to 21metrics podcast. I'm here today with Quant, Juhani Savonen. Welcome, Juhani. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, yeah, thanks again to be here.
As usual, so we are about to explore the market metrics, what is going on. So can Bitcoin recover? Are we close to capitulation? Should you buy here? That's a great question. I think we are close to at least the local bottom, but let's see. But first, check our partner Size.ai. That's the easiest way to shift crypto, instant shifts, and you can also shift from crypto to gold tokens. So Tether Gold, Pax Gold. So you can buy tokenized gold. Gold has been very popular during the past 12 months. But yeah, let's move to Bitcoin and we have seen a lot of selling pressure. If you look at back to like the all-time high of 126k, we are now down like 40 minus 40 to minus 50%. If you look at this chart, we are seeing like some buying pressure from retail. Basically all the wells are still selling, and yeah, it's been a wild ride. If those who have been holding since 126, they're now down by almost minus 50%. So how do you see this playing out, Juhani? Are we at the bottom, or could Bitcoin still go lower? How do you see this?
Yeah, I think like the fundamentals are still like quite weak, but there still have been some stabilization in some of the blockchain statistics, I think. So it just shows that probably at least the steepness of the decline isn't going to continue as steep as last 6 months, I think. But we could still go a little bit lower and then see stabilization and probably hopefully some more like buying then. But I think also like because the market is so mature as well, then we might actually achieve the bottom faster than in the past, right? Because in the past normally everyone got scared and then the market basically died or there was no much liquidity or buying it as well, and that normally leads the prices to continue to fall. So I guess like we could see like a little bit down from here, but then I would expect that we probably reach some sort of bottom in the fundamental side, and when the fundamentals start to improve, then at least myself I would be buying.
Yeah, is it like some kind of like a back to reality moment for Bitcoin now? Do you have like some?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Is it
last 6 months, I think so. Yeah. Because I think like after Trump presidency, that was like the peak of the sentiment. Like if you look at the news flow, then that was the peak of, and everyone was really bullish. Like MSGR was basically the favorite stock of all the retail investors, I think, at least in TradFi side. And then we had this massive draft down last year, right? Like all these crypto native companies have come down like 70-80%, and MSGR is I don't know how many percent, but more than half from the peak, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's big. I
yeah.
think it's basically normalization because when everyone is so excited like last year, then it was kind of like normal to see some draft down in the market, I think. But also like just because the fundamentals, I think, because Bitcoin activity in the blockchain has been really weak.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
already like before last year, I already saw the decline to start somewhere in October before the presidential elections. So it's kind of like really interesting to see that markets
yeah.
continues to price towards the fundamentals. So let's hope that the fundamentals start to pick up and then there's reason for higher prices.
So Trump's government has been very crypto positive, and I also discussed this with many OGs like Fabio Bossi in Switzerland some weeks before, and the sentiment seems to be kind of like that. Bitcoin has now succeeded in my opinion, and I'm like bullish on Bitcoin. If you look at the long term, I think crypto is too big to fail right now, but regarding Bitcoin, I think like it has achieved so many things. Bitcoin reached like six figures. It's now like it's been approved by governments, mainly the U.S. government. It's now approved by financial sector, basically TradFi. But the question then is that what's the upside, right? So, and I think that the
Mm-hmm.
trade also got pretty crowded. So of course, like if you look back at Bitcoin at like 10K in uh, like 2019 or something, you could easily see that okay, this is like a 10x trade and it's a good investment. but then again, like Bitcoin now correcting down, like even if it would go to, let's say, like 30K, I see that the positive in a way, because then you can build this narrative again that, hey, now Bitcoin is at 30K. Of course, it's bad for those who like have been holding it, but then you can create this new narrative for new investors that, hey, you might have this 10x trade, so Bitcoin could reach like 300K, which is realistic in my opinion, and just like buy and hold, DCA your way up. So it's kind of like, in my opinion, it needs to kind of like correct or go down so it can go up again. This very very basic thesis, but do you agree with this? So we kind of like need
Yeah,
this
I think
reset.
it's gonna like I think it's gonna like same thing with all these crypto mining companies as well. Like
Yeah,
they have really like fat valuations last year, and now they have lost like 70-80% of the valuation. So
yeah,
probably then it's also a better time to think about stocks like Mara and that kind of things, I think. Also
yeah,
like the crypto natives, like I mentioned,
yes,
they basically made like 11x like in 1.5 years. So then you wouldn't, when those kind of valuations you get like after a really like weak market, then you probably should consider it twice before investing then, I think. Because I think it's always a question of if the valuations are too high, like they were in last year when everyone was hyped about Trump presidency, right?
yeah, yes. The crypto
Because you see it
president. So
also like in the stocks like Circle as well. Like Circle was like 200 plus, I think. I don't have to check like what it's now, but it's below like 100 euro USD, I think.
yeah,
So even though that's like the one of the main stablecoin providers, right? If one is bullish on crypto, then you would basically buying that kind of stocks, I think.
yeah, yeah. Agreed. So my very basic thesis is that Bitcoin needs to correct, so it's kind of like investable again, and then like a lot of
Yeah,
my
exactly.
friends are talking about that, hey, let's wait to Bitcoin to go a bit lower, then we can buy again and stuff like that. So of course it's a, and as Fabio said before, this is like a narrative based industry. So you need a narrative, and when everything's like peaked, everything's like Bitcoin at 126K. Of course, like people are questioning that, what is the realistic upside, and of course like these are good questions. But the lower it goes, the realistic upside, it then changes, and it like looks better holistically. But let's move forward.
Hmm.
So we are seeing a lot of losses here. So net realized loss of 1.5 billion per day for investors. So it's yeah, we are seeing a lot of losses, especially for like short term investors. Yeah, it's you can easily see it, and these are like short term investors. So I think I would say a lot of like people who came in maybe in November around all time highs, they have now exited the market. Unfortunately, I think many took losses, and they're not now selling at loss probably. But this the way it goes. They bought a peak, but now when everybody is like negative, now you should be awake and then possibly buying again. And then we are also seeing this metric is from Capriolet, and we are seeing like stablecoin supply going down. So this also like tells about very
Hmm.
sentiment. But actually, we can jump to, yeah, this is a good one. We are seeing a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, we have wars and a lot of things. We could possibly see something happening in Asia, like maybe related to Taiwan. We have war in Europe, where we are with Juhani and everything. So a lot of uncertainty. My thesis is that Bitcoin is a risk on asset, not like a risk off asset. So
Yeah,
now we're seeing,
exactly.
yeah,
I think the same.
now,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, now we're seeing gold like performing well. But like Bitcoin has usually performed well during like peacetime, and when we had just like good times and Fed printing a lot of money and stuff like that. But now we have lots of uncertainty, and I think this is mirrored to the Bitcoin's price, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah,
agree?
I think
Yeah,
yeah, I think like especially the latest like the deviation from the like the what's called like the global liquidity index, like because a lot of people like last 2 3 years were always showing the liquidity chart in X, for instance, that Bitcoin price should go up, but now it has deviated so much from it. So I guess that kind of liquidity trade has kind of like died out. and gold has replaced Bitcoin in that trade at the moment, I think. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. However, you can kind of like buy the tokenized version of gold. So you can basically buy crypto if you buy XAUT PAX-G, and then you can buy this tokenized gold, which are good products. So you can kind of like still stay in crypto and buy gold. This is what I usually do. But let's move to your quant models. So I think you can cover this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
So
basically the liquidity, like what I mentioned, measured by what central banks do and what happens in the credit markets. So it still shows that there's upside for gold and equities at least. Yeah. So here we clearly see like how the basically crypto market has deviated from the current liquidity cycle, I would say.
yeah.
And just like what we discussed already, I think. And it still shows that it goes up, so still bullish on some other assets than cryptos at the moment, I think. Especially gold and commodities, yeah. It seems to be that a lot of prices are still going up because of liquidity. Yeah.
So
And
liquidity.
yeah, liquidity is improving still because Fed is increasing the balance sheet, and then there's still like activity in credit markets like repo markets where they can buy and sell securities by lending them to someone, and those transactions are still picking up, so that still supports higher valuations for equities, I think.
Yeah. So if the selling pressure of Bitcoin is now weakening, then the liquidity factor would support Bitcoin recovering a bit.
Yeah, you could basically think that you would short gold and buy Bitcoin. That would be like one of the trade idea, right? Like if you assume that, let's say the risk on comes to back to crypto market, then you would expect that the divergence between gold and Bitcoin would disappear, right?
All
That
right.
would be like some sort of like Bitcoin trade based on assumption that cryptos are coming back at some point.
Yeah. But I have just been accumulating gold, so is it not a bad trade, or how is it?
I think gold is always good. I think if you
Yeah.
hold it long enough. Like
Yeah.
I think half of my pension portfolio is like on the gold mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's never a bad.
because
If you
yeah,
calculate.
at least in this world situation where we are, I would say you don't have enough gold.
Yeah.
That's how I
Agree.
see it.
Agree.
Yeah, especially the situation in Asia, I would say, like where you have Taiwan and those things.
Yeah.
Iran as well. Iran is just like powder cake waiting to be ignited, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a
Agreed.
matter of question of which one starts. And now here we have the blockchain factor, like the basically my nowcast or measurement of what's happening in Bitcoin blockchain. And here we see that basically it started to decline since 23 October or something like that, October, November, I think, where we had the peak. And since then it has shown that the valuation should go down. And now we have basically been following the convergence of the pricing and fundamentals, I think, last 12 months. Or yeah, 12 months, I think, yeah, something like that. And now it shows a little bit, let's say, bottom there. So that's kind of like healthy sign that perhaps the activity doesn't continue falling longer, but we have to just wait probably 5-10 weeks, I guess. Then we see if it's bottom or do we go still lower. But normally, like the Bitcoin prices a little bit lag behind, that they have like 10-15 week lags after we have reached the bottom. Like in the following charts, we see that when I do the smoothing of this indicator with, so that it's more like annual trend, then we basically, I'm still like waiting to see confirmation that it's bottom in the indicator and the following pages, that we actually can be sure that this is bottom. But it might be a situation where you could start to buy some small amounts, I guess.
This actually looks
Yeah,
positive
so
for Bitcoin.
yeah, I think so. It looks more healthy. It's more stabilizing compared to, let's say, a couple of weeks ago, right, when we were still in the falling side.
Yeah. So Quant Juhani says, buy now, accumulate more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can start buying slowly. I think so.
Yeah.
Because it can still go lower, but you would capture the bottom then, I think.
Yeah. I was like expecting it to go lower. That's kind of like my idea of the pattern, but I don't know. The bottom could be here. It's almost like minus 50% already. So maybe you're right that
Uh,
now we
it's
have like
I think the bottom is something between 40 and 60, but the question is like when you want to start buying again.
yeah, and we are seeing the capitulation of short-term investors. They have probably sold. Holders are holding still. They don't care, but then we see like new investors coming in right now. So I think you're right. But like then the next ones.
Yeah, that's like the annual one basically. So it's basically leads the market by 6 months. So it might be still that we go lower if we don't get confirmation in this chart that it's the bottom. So it can still continue lower, I think. I would just want to see that it starts to, let's say, curve up a bit, because now it still like shows that there's a decline, and that would support the case for still lower prices. So I think something between 40 to 50 is kind of realistic if the, let's say, the chart doesn't show upwards, and because also we saw already this indication of downward somewhere in, was it August 24, and the market basically continued up another almost 50% or 60% from there.
Yeah.
So it can take quite some time before we reach the bottom. So I guess it might be like the end of the year, like August, like when the market comes online again after summer, when the real bottom is, because that's normally like where you see the bottoms, like in 22. That was also August, September.
Yeah, the
So
summer
it
season might be
yeah, it
quite.
tends to follow. Yeah, because I think we discussed like last year as well, that there's like this seasonality, like in equity markets as well, that everyone is really bullish until March, and then it's April and May, and that's already holiday season almost, and then
Yeah,
then
the
there's
summer season
really just this.
negative. People are like having holidays and I don't know, maybe spending money and stuff like that. They might be
They just sell the Bitcoin and go to somewhere nice, I guess.
go to Spain and sell your holdings and whatever. Yeah, yeah, that can happen. Yeah, but the next one is the DeFi
Yeah, this
company.
is also like the native crypto stocks that I follow a lot, and it's kind of like still same thing. So that's why I'm also like, yeah, if it starts to increase, then I probably would be a buyer again.
Yeah,
Because it's always good to be buyer when nobody wants them, and then you can sell later on when we are run new cycle, I guess. If those stocks still are the thing, at least some of the miners are transferring to some other tokens, so they might be interesting. So we will see.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I also
Yeah,
think.
but I think like as a summary, it basically just means that the downward spiral is probably slowing down, but we might still go down 10, 20K, I think, if the blockchain activity doesn't improve. But because of the really long lag between fundamentals and price, it can take some time before the, let's say, demand returns.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, interesting. So we might be bottom here. I think um, we can wrap this up, but basically your models are showing that we have a capitulation here and market might be bottom. So Bitcoin looks.
Yeah, but I mean, pretty sure there might be some last leg down, but I think the biggest leg of the drop from last year's extreme valuations is kind of like over. So we
Yeah,
just need to check it up in next month, I think, and then we see how things are.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So the last thesis, what Johan says is that we are close to the bottom, and if you want to DCA, this is a good moment right now, and we are kind of like positive on Bitcoin and towards its sentiment. So yeah, thank you, Juhani, and I think we can close this one. But yeah,
Yeah, let's do so. Yeah, and check it like within a month or sometime, and then we see where we are next time.
so accumulate more. See you next time.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.